Blaise Pascal, a French mathematician, physicist, inventor, philosopher, and Christian writer from the 17th century, defines the human predicament so clearly in his detailed work titled Pensées, or Thoughts. He explored the idea that humans constantly seek diversion and distraction to avoid facing the inherent emptiness and despair that can arise from contemplating the void and their own mortality. He famously described this as humans seeking to divert themselves from their true condition. According to Pascal, man looks around himself and all he sees is darkness and obscurity. He is a tiny speck lost in the vastness of space and time. With a life so brief, he's surrounded by eternity on both sides, oblivious to his part in this whole existence. Yet man tries his best to lead a meaningful and happy life. His condition is characterized by infidelity, boredom, and anxiety. His relations with his fellow man are warped by self-love. Society is founded on shared dishonesty. Man's justice is inconsistent and relative, and no fixed standard of value can be found. But despite this predicament, humans refuse to seek an answer or even to think about their dilemma. Instead, they find bliss in their own ignorance. Listen to Pascal describe the common way in which mankind deals with the human predicament. It reads, "I know not who sent me into the world, nor what the world is, nor what I myself am. I'm terribly ignorant of everything. I know not what my body is, nor my senses, nor my soul, and that part of me which thinks what I say, which reflects upon itself as well as upon all external things, and has no more knowledge of itself than of them. I see the terrifying immensity of the universe which surrounds me, and find myself limited to one corner of this vast expanse, without knowing why I'm set down here rather than elsewhere, nor why the brief period appointed for my life is assigned to me at this moment, rather than another in all the eternity that has gone before and will come after me. On all sides I behold nothing but infinity, in which I am a mere atom, a mere passing shadow that returns no more. All I know is that I must soon die, but what I understand least of all is this very death which I cannot escape. As I know not whence I come, so I know not whither I go. I only know that on leaving this world I fall forever into nothingness or into the hands of a wrathful God, without knowing to which of these two states I shall be everlastingly consigned. Such is my condition, full of weakness and uncertainty. From all this I conclude that I ought to spend every day of my life without seeking to know my fate. I might perhaps be able to find a solution to my doubts, but I cannot be bothered to do so. I will not take one step toward its discovery." Amazing. Believe what you want about eternity, but the last thing you should do is settle on ambiguity. If truth exists, then it can be known. William Lane Craig summarizes Pascal's conclusion. He writes, "Man's condition ought to impel him to seek to discover whether there is a God and a solution to his predicament. But people occupy their time and their thoughts with trivialities and distractions, so as to avoid the despair, boredom, and anxiety that would inevitably result if those diversions were removed. Such is the misery of man. But mention must also be made of the greatness of man. For although man is miserable, he is at least capable of knowing that he is miserable. The universe might crush him like a gnat, but even so, man is nobler than the universe because he knows that it crushes him, and the universe has no such knowledge. Man's whole dignity consists therefore in thought. By space, the universe encompasses and swallows me up like a mere speck. By thought, I comprehend the universe. Man's greatness, then, lies not in his having the solution to his predicament, but in the fact that he alone in all the universe is aware of his wretched condition." Wow. And it is this knowledge of our wretched condition that serves as a sign pointing us to our Creator. Craig writes, "Knowledge of God without knowledge of man's wretchedness begets pride. And knowledge of man's wretchedness without knowledge of God begets despair. But knowledge of Jesus Christ furnishes man's knowledge of both simultaneously." The words of Pascal certainly shook me to the core and opened my eyes to the reality that the worst thing we can do in this life is settle for uncertainty. Take care and God bless.